Hi everyone, I'm the Plant Propagator and welcome to my channel. If you want to see more videos, it would help me out if you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Today I don't have anything really organized, too well organized to show you. I don't have a demo or there's no teaching that I'm going to be doing, but I want to tell you a little bit about some of the week's activities and some of my day's activities, and then I want to end up by asking for your feedback and comments on some things. So first of all, I wanted to mention to you that we had our monthly meeting, membership meeting of the Gulf Coast Orchid Alliance, and it was Orchid Bingo this week, which was really a lot of fun. And what you do is you play, as you might imagine, I don't need to explain it to you, I guess, but you play bingo and you win. If you do win, you get prizes, and the prizes are orchids. So it was really fun, and luckily there were a lot of orchids. There were some that were purchased. There were some that were brought in by the members, and it was just great fun because so many people left with winning orchids. And this is one that I won. This is Star Ruby Xanadu, and this is just a really nice cross. It's a Brassivola cross, Brassivola Cattleya cross. And this is just a really nice plant that I'm pretty happy with. It has just a really nice fragrance. It's a smaller plant, but I just really like the colors on this plant. And so I was pretty happy to win early on, so that I got one of the, a nice plant here for bingo. The other thing is that in addition to winning a plant at bingo, my plant won. So this is Sherry Baby, Oncidium Sherry Baby, and I won second prize. So I was I'm happy to bring the plants in. It wasn't even that. It's not that great, but it's a big plant, and has a lot of flowers on it. And I guess people saw me bring it in, and they felt sorry for me, so they gave me enough people voted for my plant. It's the membership votes, and you win based on that. So that was fun. I also today, and that was earlier on this week. Today, what I did is I took a look at my orchid nursery. I put some more plants into my orchid nursery that I brought home from the lab. They'd been deflasked 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I brought some more plants home, and my nursery at my home is starting to get a little bit full. Not quite. I still have a little more space, and it's interesting because I was complaining, which I really like to do, to some of the other members of my society, that my orchid nursery was full, and they laughed at me because my orchid growing space is really small. I don't know whether I need to expand it, but I told them that they can grow some of the orchids that I'm bringing home that are in my orchid nursery right now. But the nursery's getting full. The plants really look nice. I've got a real diversity of plants, but the thing is, I've got a lot more plants coming. So my orchid nursery it's getting full, but I still have a little more space, but I don't know how long I'm going to have space because I'm deflasking so many plants and bringing them home. The other thing that I want to share with you today is one of the crosses that I made, a pollination that I made, and it was a fun one because it was a Dendrobium cross, and one of the dendrobiums was Dendrobium cruminatum, which the blooms only last for 1 day. And so I looked up cruminatum, Dendrobium cruminatum, to see what kind of parent it is, and there's only a few successful crosses and registrations that I was able to find with it as the male or the pollinium parent. So I made a cross, and I actually crossed the cruminatum onto Dendrobium wuling. And this is a dendrobium that blooms like crazy. It's very receptive. I get capsule formation on this plant a lot, and I actually didn't know what it was until one of the viewers, thank you, was able to identify it for me. But it's clear that that's what it is. So this is Dendrobium wulang, and it's a huge plant. Has nice flowers, big flowers that are fragrant, and so what I'm hoping is that some of the characteristics of wulang will cross with the Cruminatum. And Cruminatum is also fragrant, so I've got two fragrant dendrobiums that I crossed. I'll see if they work. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen. Again, there was only 4 successful crosses that are registered that I was able to find with Cruminatum as the male parent, and none as the female parent. So we'll see how it goes. And this is part of the fun of what I like doing, making crosses, just to see, number one, whether the cross will work, and number two, what the plant will look like. Dendrobiums in my hands in the laboratory grow really, really well, really vigorous. They're really easy to grow out. The plants get big, and then in my yard here, where I'm growing my dendrobiums, they all do really, really well. And so I'm willing to try it. I'm gonna get, if this works, I'm gonna get a lot of seedlings, but let's see how it goes, and we'll go from there. All right, so that's pretty much, it's a summary of some of the things that I did in this week and in my yard and in my orchid growing area at home. What I want now is some feedback, and you can provide feedback in the comments, and what I'm interested in hearing from you is what you want me to talk to you about. So I do have a list. I have an ongoing list of videos that I want to put together, and some of those videos I really need to put a few videos together on the potting media, some different combinations of potting medium for different orchids. Really important fertilizers. I've done a lot of work recently on fertilizers and the different types of fertilizer addenda, different types of things that you can add and mix, and what the various components are. And it's really becoming a fascinating story, and I'll probably put that out maybe next week or the week after. But a lot of information, and it's confusing, even though I have my PhD in plant physiology, so I know how these things work. I know how the plants work, kind of. But there's still a lot of really interesting information, confusing information on fertilizers. So if you also, one of the things is I am a plant propagator, so if you're interested in hearing about propagation of any specific plant or any orchid or just any plant overall, I'm happy to talk to you about that. That's really what I did professionally for 35 years, was worked in the area of plant propagation, mostly using tissue culture, but I certainly have experience in just classical propagation through cuttings and seeds and everything else of many, many different types of plants. So I'm happy if you have any ideas, put them in the comments if you want to hear about anything specific relating to orchids or plant propagation overall, and I'll see what I can put together. The last thing that I want is some feedback again from you. What I have now, and I'm excited about it, kind of, is a Phalaenopsis capsule that is going to be ready to go. I'm going to be ready to flask it this week. It's a cross between two unknown plants. I know what the flowers look like, and one of them was this huge, the female parent of the seed parent was this huge Phalaenopsis. I called it a monster phal that's growing on my day plum in our front yard. When the people would walk the neighborhood, they would stop to look at it. Just was loaded with flowers, huge plants, nice flowers, and a lot of them. It was a big plant. And so I use that as the female parent, and I have a capsule that's ready to form. And then I have another known, a male parent, but it's unknown. So I have an image of the male parent, the flower, but I don't know the name of the plant. So I made this cross, and what I want to do, if this capsule has seeds in it, as I think it does because it's pretty big, I'm going to take it in the lab this week and flask it. and see what I get out of it. But what I want to do is make a lot of Phalaenopsis plants, and the nice thing about Phalaenopsis is they grow really quickly in culture, and they flower very quickly also from seed, at least faster than many of the other orchids that I have, and probably that you have as well. What I want to do with these then is put together a kit for mounting phal. So it'll be a Phalaenopsis or phal mounting kit, and sell them or give them away, but sell them for not very much, because I think I can grow these things very quickly and very efficiently. And the idea here, at least in Southwest Florida, in southern Florida, is that you can mount the Phalaenopsis on the trees very efficiently. It works well, the roots grab on, and they do really well. So I was going to do local, but certainly I was going to sell locally, but certainly if there's an interest, and just because I'm not going to be charging very much for this kit, it'll be ready to go probably in probably about 6 to 9 months, I think, if it works. And I want your feedback on whether you think that's a good idea. If you think it's a terrible idea, I'm fine, I can handle that. If you think it's a good idea, then that's fine. But again, I would sell the Phalaenopsis, some moss to pack on one side of the plant, again, away from the tree or the board or whatever it's mounting on. And then I'm going to include enough rubber bands so that you can use the rubber bands to attach to the tree. And I really prefer rubber bands over twine or zip ties or anything like that, because they move with the tree, and then they're the board or the orchid, and then they'll eventually get brittle and fall off. So I like the use of these rubber bands, and I've presented those before in some of my videos. All right, so just provide some feedback if you want on the phal mounting kit. I'll probably have five Phalaenopsis seedlings, some babies, in the kit with sphagnum and rubber bands and directions. And then any other feedback that you'd like to provide to me on my channel as far as to make it better, or providing material that may be more useful to you, or that may be more relevant to you. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this really non-targeted, very general video, and happy propagating.